This morning on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Kamala Harris officially resigned from her Senate seat exactly at noon, paving the way for her to make history as the first woman and the first Black and South Asian person to serve as the country's vice president. Joining me now is Sherrilyn Ifill, President and Director Counsel of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. Sherrilyn, thank you very much. Well, let's just talk about the significance of Kamala Harris and of the history that she's making today, this week.
Well, she will be the first Black woman vice president, the first vice president of South Asian descent. This is incredibly historic and really important. At the same time that she makes that move, leaving the United States Senate once again without any Black women serving in the United States Senate. And so even as history is being made, we are returning in the United States Senate to, a very grim look at representation in that body. So there's tremendous work still to be done, but nevertheless, incredibly exciting that Kamala Harris is making this move. She's fully prepared and equipped, and it's an important and historic day in one of the most challenging periods in our history.
And just looking at the contrast, the extraordinary contrast today, it's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, the federal holiday that was opposed, in fact, and was hard fought when I was back covering Congress. And now that you have this recognized holiday, which is a day of service, you have both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and their spouses, their families going and doing service. And you have the current president of the United States huddling in the White House, not out of view, discussing pardons.
Yes, well, there's certainly no reason for this president to be any different than he's been over the last 4 years or his entire life. It would be a mockery if he were to pretend to engage in service today. Obviously, President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris are doing what they have done in the past and honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's important to remember that many people who would normally participate in a day of service today are not doing so because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And this will be one of the first and most important things for the president-elect and vice president-elect to confront, particularly for those in the Black community who are disproportionately facing vulnerability to COVID-19 illness and death, and who still are not getting vaccines at the level that we need to have it happen. So there's a lot of work ahead. This is not one day of service. This is the beginning of some very intense service that the president-elect and vice president-elect will have to undertake.
I want to point out that Raphael Warnock, of course, in Georgia, also set to make history this week as the first Black Democrat elected from the South. He has served for years, though, as the senior pastor at Dr. King's church and delivered a sermon this weekend ahead of the holiday.
There is a sense in which the world is in flux. And when that happens, there are always those demagogues who are trying to scapegoat those other people and stirring up the worst types of stereotypes and creating all kinds of division, age-old racial and religious resentments, divisions that blur our vision.
I mean, apart from the violence, Sherrilyn, seeing the Confederate flag in the rotunda, seeing those, Camp Auschwitz T-shirts and the other marks of anti-Semitism, but just the white supremacist theme that just ran right through those rioters was just so appalling.
Andrea, I remember sitting with you and having this conversation after Charlottesville. And expressing, both of us, the same kind of horror at what we were seeing. What has been unleashed in this country has only grown more emboldened. It, of course, lived beneath the surface. It was not created by Donald Trump. It was perpetuated by people in the highest levels of government, religion, politics, journalism, and now it has been unleashed in this most violent way by the outgoing president. It will not magically go back in the bottle because there is a new president. And we have to face that we are living in this new normal and have to be prepared to confront it. And that means first being honest about it, holding those accountable who brought us to this moment and who continue to stir the pot, and then charting another way and building something fresh and new that fully explores who we are as Americans and that doesn't put blinders on. We have to be honest about what exists in this country and the danger of it. And today, Martin Luther King Day, is an important day to be honest. We celebrate this day because this person who believed in peace was assassinated in this country. And so today is a good day for us to reckon with the fight that we have ahead.
Well, Sherrilyn Ifill, I'm so glad you're with us today, and we will post information because you have news about a new scholarship program that the Legal Defense Fund is launching. So we'll put that online as well. As always, thank you. Peace to you.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.